Hello, Lisa Dickey here from Dickey's Cooking School, and March break is over. Isn't that great? Oh, my bad. Just kidding. We're all home still. Oh well, let's move forward, shall we? So today I'm going to show you how to make a really great meal that's fast, economical. It involves tofu, but if you don't like tofu, you have lots of options to shift it out. Here's what we've got here. We have one package of firm tofu, and just to get things moving, I have cut it into basically 1-inch cubes, pressed it between paper towel, top and bottom, and we're just gonna press the water out because what we're gonna do with that tofu is dredge it in cornstarch and fry it in oil. Personally, I find tofu with a nice crispy, greasy jacket is much more delicious. Moving forward, we need soy sauce, honey, cornstarch, cilantro, if you abide by it, spring onions, mango. My preference is arulfo because I like the flesh better, but you could use the other type. I think it's, I don't know, it's another type. We need 1 can of coconut milk. We need 1.5 cups of basmati rice. I am not soaking the rice, but I just wanted you to see I've rinsed it, and I rinsed it about 6 or 7 times just to get all the dust and the excess starch off it. We need garlic. We need the zest of a lime. Always wash the skin first before you do that. And we need the juice of a lime. Okay, let's make this. Okay, here is our rice rinsed. To that, we're gonna add 1 cup of water. We're gonna add 1 minced clove of garlic. We're going to add 1 can of full fat coconut. We're gonna give this a little stir. It's a little cold in here, so the coconut milk is a little bit solid. So we're just gonna give it a little stir to incorporate it, like so. That's gonna go on the stove. It's gonna go on high. As soon as it comes to a boil, turn it right down to the lowest setting, put the lid on, and your rice is gonna be ready in about 20 minutes, which gives us just enough time to start frying up our tofu. Okay, we're back. So if you can come in here and see, this is nice and boiling. It's fully boiling. You can see all the bubbles coming up. I'm gonna turn it right down to 1. It was on medium high. So my cooktop range is from 1 to 10, so I was boiling at about 7. I was boiling it at 7. So lid goes on, and then that's just gonna sit there. In this pan over here, you can see I've got this much oil in the bottom of the pan. You could also use a cooking pot. You could also use a smaller frying pan. You're just gonna cook them in smaller batches. And I've got about 4 tablespoons of cornstarch in here, and also a tiny piece of cilantro, which I'll get out. Okay, so the most important thing with your oil is you need to wait until it gets warm enough. So number 1, I have it at medium high, so I have it at a 5 out of 10. So what you're looking for is to see sort of a shimmery kind of moving pattern in the bottom of the pan, and that lets you know the oil is hot enough. What happens if you take your tofu or shrimp later on, if you dredge it in cornstarch, it just is gonna sink to the bottom of the pan and it's gonna get greasier than you need it to be. Okay, so this has been drained. While we're waiting for the oil to heat up, I'm gonna show you how to cut a mango if you don't know. And a note about this, 2 notes about this recipe. Number 1, if you don't like mango, try pineapple. Pineapple would be really great with this. You could also cut up some nice red peppers, would be really lovely with this dish too. Anyway, so your mango, say you're using this one. The seed runs up the center and the seed sits this way, so it's wide and skinny. We're going to cut the fruit around the seed. So sometimes you get a little bit of the seed, it's not a big deal. So I'm gonna cut down the center and down onto the other side. Okay? Now I'm just going to make a checkerboard pattern. So I'm just gonna press here and here and through it. Okay, so there's your mango. You're just gonna flip it over. You can actually just peel the pieces off, or you can slice them off carefully. That's it. That's how you get into your mango. The other thing I was gonna say is this recipe was taken from budgetbites.com. I wanna give full props to the person who made up this recipe. It wasn't me. And that's bites with BYTES.com. Okay, I'll get this off and let's cook up some tofu. If you have someone in your life who wants tofu and then there's someone else who wants shrimp, then obviously do the tofu first. If you're dealing with a vegan or a vegetarian, they don't want your shrimp juices in their tofu naturally, right? Okay, here we go. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tofu and we're going to, this is called dredging it. This is just straight cornstarch. If you didn't have cornstarch, you could also use tapioca starch, potato starch, all in the same family. You could use all-purpose flour, but you get a crispier, lighter finish if you use cornstarch. So we're just gonna dredge it up like this, and then I'm just gonna get enough going so I can fill the pan, and then we can sort of take it from there. If you wanted to, you could add salt to this mix, fine sea salt. You could also add some garlic powder, or you could add any other kind of spice. I think there's like a 5-spice blend, which is sort of a vague Asian flavoring. You could experiment with that, okay? We've got everything dredged. The oil is nice and hot. And can you hear that fizzing? You want to see little bubbles form around whatever you're frying, and that lets you know that the oil is hot enough. Please use real caution when you're dealing with hot oil. It's a great way to cook things. Also, it's a wonderful way to burn yourself. So don't check your email. If your kids are doing this, absolutely give them your full attention if they're using oil. It's dangerous. You can get a super serious burn, and you want to be really careful, okay? So we're gonna not overfill the pan, but I think we're gonna cook all of these in 2 batches, but it doesn't take long to cook. We're gonna start it off cooking and then just start to give it a slow turn. We want it golden brown, but we want it to make sure that all the sides are nicely crisped up and cooked. It just gives it a really nice texture. One other thing about the mango, in this instance, if your mango is a little bit underripe, that sourness is actually lovely. So if you're going into the supermarket, especially now, things are a little bit wonky, a firm mango is nice, okay? Because we're gonna have this really sweet kind of savory sauce on top of it, this glaze. Okay, we're gonna check back in a couple minutes. Okay, there is our beautiful crispy tofu. Once I finish with the tofu, I dredge the shrimp, and the shrimp cooks in like 2 or 3 minutes. What you're looking for is it to be completely opaque, okay? So that's done. Let's check in on our rice, and then let's make our glaze and assemble our delicious bowl. Okay, lids off on the rice, and our rice, 20 minutes later, is cooked. Just gonna give it a quick toss right before we serve it, just to make sure it's nicely mixed. I'm gonna set that aside. Let's get our shrimp off, and then let's make our glaze. One other thing about the mango, in this instance, if your mango is a little bit underripe, that sourness is actually lovely. So if you're going into the supermarket, especially now, things are a little bit wonky, a firm mango is nice, okay? Because we're gonna have this really sweet kind of savory sauce on top of it, this glaze. Okay, we're gonna check back in a couple minutes. Okay, there is our beautiful crispy tofu. Once I finish with the tofu, I dredge the shrimp, and the shrimp cooks in like 2 or 3 minutes. What you're looking for is it to be completely opaque, okay? So that's done. Let's check in on our rice, and then let's make our glaze and assemble our delicious bowl. Okay, lids off on the rice, and our rice, 20 minutes later, is cooked. Just gonna give it a quick toss right before we serve it, just to make sure it's nicely mixed. I'm gonna set that aside. Let's get our shrimp off, and then let's make our glaze. If you want your glaze has no heat in it. It's just lime juice, lime zest, honey, and soy. As an option, you could add some fresh, like some chili peppers, dried chili peppers, onto your bowl if you wanted it. If you don't want it, you don't have to. If you want to add any extra, if you like some heat, if you like hot and sweet together, and who don't, you could add sriracha, your favorite chili sauce. I don't know if you've ever used the Korean sort of chili sauce, the gochujang. That's a really lovely chili sauce. You can get that at TNT and Al Premium. You can get it there as well if you're in Toronto. Okay, our glaze. Let's go on to the glaze. It's really quick and it'll be ready in about, I'd say 2 minutes. Final phase, 1/4 cup of honey. I'm gonna get this out and into the pan. And to that 1/4 cup of honey, we're gonna get the heat on right away so it'll melt. Who knew it was gonna snow today? I didn't. Okay, 1 cup of honey. Zest of 1 lime. We clean the lime always first because who knows what mangy business is on the outside of that lime skin. 1/2 tablespoon of soy sauce. The juice of a lime. We're gonna mix that all in. The last thing we have is a teaspoon of cornstarch, and we're gonna thicken that up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour a little bit of the liquid off, make a little bit of a paste, or some people call it a slurry, with the cornstarch. Put that back on the heat. Whoopsie. There we go, let that heat. While that's heating, I'm just gonna give that a quick little mix around. The only reason you do this is to prevent lumps. Okay, that's nice and mixed. Cornstarch is a weirdo ingredient, right? If it's mixed with a liquid and you continue to mix it, mechanical mix it, it will stay liquid. As soon as you let it go or leave it for a bit, it will kind of revert to this weird solid. I think it was like gorp or something like that. I can't remember. We used to make a lot of it when my kids were young. So we're gonna mix that up. We just want it to thicken and be all mixed in. With cornstarch, it's nice, it's helpful or effective, most effective if you bring it to a bit of a boil, okay? That really activates it. If it's just sort of at a medium temperature, it's not gonna thicken. We don't want it super thick, it's not a jelly, it's just a nice syrup. Beautiful coconut rice. Some tofu. Some shrimp, a little bit of spring onion, some mango, cilantro, chili peppers, hot glaze, whoa, my technique is not good. And I'm gonna start with a shrimp, and I'm gonna say super, super, super yummo. Delicious. Enjoy the rice. There's enough tofu there, you can spread this for a big family meal. Spread it over 2 meals. The rice is delicious. Happy cooking, everyone. Stay safe. Wash your hands as if they are filthy. Bye.